Hi, everybody. I'm Annabelle. Welcome to episode 25 of our Natural Health and Astrology series. This is going to be all about this month's new moon. And I have with me Laurie, who's going to go into detail about that for us, about how we can manage our emotions around this new moon phase. I'm going to be talking about essential oils that we can use to help us. I am a health coach and naturopath. I'm specialized a lot in women's gut health. And I'm just passionate about natural remedies and natural health and learning from Laurie Barnes, who is going to introduce herself now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Laurie Barnes. I'm an astrologer and a psychotherapist. And I help people with goal setting and using astrology and timing. And I love to talk about the moon phases, which is why we are here today. We have an Aquarius new moon coming tonight and mostly tomorrow, depending on where you live. So this Aquarius new moon will be at 9:46 p.m. if you're on the West Coast in the United States. For the rest of us in Europe, and if you're on the East Coast in the US, it'll be first thing in the morning. I guess if you're in the middle of the United States, it'll be really late tonight as well. You want to do your new moon intentions during the new moon. That's why the time of day is important, so that you actually set those intentions under the new moon phase and not the phase before. So I have all of those times on my blog, which I'll link to below. But when you do work, if you are going to write your intentions, and I hope you do, you would do that tomorrow, Tuesday, or Wednesday, when we're actually in the new moon phase. So today's and tomorrow's new moon in Aquarius is exciting. It's exciting for me because if you've been following us, I've been talking a lot about Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde. And last week, Venus went direct. And then this coming week, Mercury is going to go direct. And then we have this new moon kind of sandwiched in between. And so the theme of our new moon episode today is moving forward with balanced flexibility, because we are now in this shift. You may all be feeling these shifts, like where some of those things from the past that come up during retrogrades may finally be resolving or are resolved, or you're in the process of implementing some new ways of doing things. And then we have this new moon come along that really propels that energy for us. It's Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign, not a water sign. Sometimes there's confusion around that. It's an air sign. And so it's a mental and social sign. There's a lot of thinking that goes with this sign. And it's innovative thinking. Aquarius is about innovation. It's about reform and doing things in a new way. And Aquarians are very much about independence and freedom and doing things in their own personal individual way. So we're all experiencing collectively this Aquarius new moon. And so we can all kind of tap into that individuality and the independence and freedom thinking ways of doing things. Now, the other thing that can happen, kind of like the opposite, because we always want to look at the opposite of what this innovative thinking and kind of like reform oriented thinking is, to have some rigidity. And that is definitely present at this new moon because of some other planetary configurations with the moon. And I won't get super technical on that, but if you do want to know more about that, you can read about it in the blog. What I will say is that there's some tension that will be in the air. It's the kind of tension that maybe brings up a challenge or presents a growth opportunity where you have to do some work to move forward. And that can also bring up for you where you may be more inflexible, more rigid, and more stubborn. So knowing this, you can watch your behaviors and your actions and your words. And if you notice that you're more holding on with a tight grip on something when there's kind of like this push to change, and you're like, no, 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 there's no need to change. That's a sign that maybe you're being out of balance to flexibility. And so this moon is about being in balance with your flexibility and moving forward with balanced flexibility, because we can't ignore that we are coming out of the Venus retrograde, and soon we're going to come out of the Mercury retrograde while we're still in this new moon phase. So putting it all together is that we're coming out of a 2-month time period. If we go back to the Venus retrograde when it started, and then the Mercury retrograde started in mid-January, and now Venus retrograde has ended and we're moving forward, and Mercury retrograde is ending and moving forward. So we have this concept of looking backwards to look forward, and we're getting past the looking backwards part. We're kind of finishing that up, and we're all kind of collectively looking forward. There's a lot of lessons that have probably come up, or refreshments, renewals, reevaluations, realignments. These are all retrograde words. And so these are things that you have likely experienced in 1 or 2 parts of your life. I say 1 or 2 because the Mercury retrograde did travel through 2 different signs. So it would have been highlighting a couple of different areas of your personal chart. Venus was retrograde in one particular area. And so look back over those things and evaluate how far you've come in the last 2 months. This is a time now, though, to start looking forward. Whereas 2 months ago, I would have talked a lot about spending time looking backwards and figuring out where's their unfinished business, where are there cracks to fill, where are there refinements needed. Now we're coming into the time where that should have mostly been done, although it's still a time to do that, but it's like wrapping all that up and now starting to get that forward thinking mindset. And then we have this wonderful new moon in Aquarius that is all about reform and innovation and doing things in a new and different way for us to take advantage of. I hope that makes sense.
And is it true also, you know, the opposite of what you were saying before, that you can feel that you want to move forward, but you're being held back also?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's that kind of stubbornness, that tension that you can fall on either side of the coin or the continuum. Whereas on one side, there's that rigidity, that's like that tight grip and holding on and not wanting to move on to a new way of doing things. And then, you know, the other side of that is being too elastic. Whereas, you know, one thing pops up, one little challenge, you're like, okay, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. And then something pops up. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. So, you know, there's neither of them are productive. Where you want to be is in the middle. And I was kind of describing it in my blog as if you've ever rode a public bus or a train, and you know how they stop fast, they take off fast, they, you know, have jerks around corners, and like, you can't, if you're standing, you can't, it's really hard to stay, right? You have to bend your knees and ride the waves. I think it's kind of like surfing. Like you have to like adjust, adapt. You have to be like a tree, right? Like you have your roots in the ground, but yet you have to like move around with what comes your way. And if you try to hold your knees rigid and stand rigid and be like, I'm not going to move, you're going to fall over. And if you let yourself like really get thrown around, you're still going to fall over. So what you want to do is have that balance. And what you want to do is notice your words, notice your actions, notice your responses. If you are kind of putting your head in the sand and or holding on really tight, or making excuses like, no, it has to be this way, it always has to work this way, or I don't want to change, it's kind of a sign that you are being rigid, and you might want to just consider that there are other ways that can work better for you. And then just like the opposite, that if you are just constantly changing, you're never going to get anywhere. So yes, yeah, it can show up both ways. And then, some of us may be balanced. It's, I don't want to make it sound like everybody's going to be in balance one way
extreme or the other.
Yeah, it's a continuum. It's like a gradient that goes from the color or the white to black, and everywhere in between. You can fall anywhere in any shade of gray. And what's important under this new moon is to consider that and to use that information for setting your intentions. And of course, after we talk about the essential oil, I'm going to give you some very specific ideas of how to do your new moon intentions, and some things that you can do over the next couple of weeks. But for the actual meditation, or any time that you are going to devote to the new moon, like Tuesday or Wednesday when the moon is in Aquarius, is to think about that. Think about how far you've come in the last 2 months, because that's been this retrograde time. That's clearly that those events are going to play into this new moon energy. And then get your forward thinking cap on as well, and think about, okay, with all of this information I have, or everything that I've learned, and everything that has changed and shifted for me in the last 2 months, how am I going to do things now in a new way? What has shifted? What has renewed? What has realigned? And what is that going to look like moving forward? So that's kind of like that theme of moving forward with balance, flexibility.
And on the topic of moving forward and motion and flow, I was looking at the essential oil cypress, which is known for that. It's known for helping people create an energetic flow and movement, and also helping us let go of the past, which is what you were talking about before. We would have been looking backwards a lot, reflecting, etc., over the last couple of months, and now it's really time to move forward and go more with the flow of life, and that is what Cyprus is all about. So really great also for people who tend to try to force things to happen in life, rather than just kind of letting go and sitting back, surrendering more, and letting things unfold more naturally. So I definitely can relate to that at the moment. I really felt like in the last couple of months, reflecting a lot, but now just this huge energy that I have to kind of move forward and do new things, and let go of old habits and things like that. So I'm going to be using my cypress oil a lot over this period. And a really nice way to use it, like all of these oils that I talk about, that I recommend from doTERRA, are aromatically, obviously. So you can either put a few drops in a cold water diffuser. You can literally just inhale from the bottle, or you can put a couple of drops in your hand, rub your hands together and inhale like this. That's a really nice way to get a very fast, very quick effect on your emotions and your mood. And also topically, so under the soles of the feet is a really nice way to get a systemic effect on the body. And you can also rub it up and down the spine. That's also a really nice point in the body to really get the mental and physical benefits of the essential oil.
Great. So exciting. I'm excited about this new moon, if you can't tell. It's because I don't know, I just, whenever you see something like retrograde time, and that it's an Aquarius new moon, the fact that it's a new moon right? Not a full moon that's sandwiched in between the retrogrades. It's this new moon, and it's Aquarius, which already has kind of like this warm oriented. I feel like it's a very exciting time.
Larry, there's a funny noise coming from the microphone. I'm not sure if there's a.
Oh,
yeah, when you were speaking.
sorry.
No, it stopped.
Okay. Yeah, I can't stress enough how exciting I think that it is that they're ending at the same time as this new moon, and we can all start looking forward, like you were saying. It's like we're all kind of coming out of this backwards looking time, and not just with one retrograde, but two very personal planets, Venus, which is about how we relate to people and things and ourselves, and then Mercury, which is about our communication style and our learning and our thinking. So, we really had this unique opportunity to have them at the same time. And for a portion of the time, they were in the same sign. So whatever part of life anyone was feeling these retrogrades in, were really feeling it, because it was Mercury and Venus retrograde in Capricorn, although Mercury covered 2 signs. But I promise I wouldn't get too technical, so I'll just say read the blogs, because there's a lot of more information on those things. Okay, so I think I'll jump into some ideas for you to do on the new moon, and then I have ideas that you can do over the longer phase, the new moon to the next full moon, which will be in Leo, I want to say on the 16th, and we'll be back with a video on that. So on the new moon, do your new moon intentions Tuesday or Wednesday. And I have a link to how to do your new moon intentions if you're not sure what that means. And I would set intentions around being innovative and being open to change and to finding that balance, flexibility. Aquarius is, like I said earlier, it's an air sign, it's a mental sign. So if you have some problem solving to do, you can really tap into some creative problem solving. So I would focus in on that on Tuesday or Wednesday. And Aquarius really likes to go to the beat of its own drum. If you're an Aquarian, you can probably really relate to that. So under this new moon energy, focus on what makes you really unique, what makes you uniquely you, and set some intentions around how you want to explore that over the next couple of weeks. And so kind of getting to the longer 2-week phase under the new moon, just continuing on that thought, to celebrate your uniqueness every day. Like, wear the style that's you, and maybe you have a style sitting in your closet, and you want to maybe wear that really cool red pattern shirt, but you never do because you're a little shy. Like, do it under this phase. Like, do something different, do something that's you, but do something unique. Or if you do have a certain style or trait, and just really get it out and do it more often. Get together with your friends. Aquarius is a social sign. If you can't get together face to face, get together online. Try to network more under the Aquarian new moon. And this is also a time that if you want to expand your network, so, send out more friend requests and join more groups, join more private Facebook groups, or subscribe to more YouTube channels, or join a local chapter of something. Now is the time to kind of get out there. And probably you can tie this into some of those things that you were realigning in the last couple of months. Volunteering is also highlighted. The sign Aquarius is associated with humanitarian causes. So if there's something that you really want to support and you've been wanting to sign up for or volunteer for a program, do that now. Or if you are already signed up with the program, try to get involved, do something, see if they have something going on where you can jump in and help out. Aquarians are known for just experimenting, if there's something that you've been wanting to try out that you've never done, this would be a good time to do that. Sign up for a class if you've been wanting to do that. New ways of doing old routines is highly indicated. So that's kind of been the theme of what we talked about today, but the practical side of maybe some of the things that have come up or you've learned or realigned from the last few months, you actually want to take it that next step and make it part of your new schedule, like, put in a recurring event in your calendar of something new and unique that you've been wanting to do. If you are an inventor, this is my last one, and I do have more, but I'll just refer you to the blog. Aquarians are associated with inventing things. So if you're an inventor, and there are inventors out there who are constantly inventing things and making patents. So if you're one of those types of people, or you want to be, you've been meaning to invent something that you have to do a patent for, kick it off under this new moon phase. It's really a perfect time to do that. And I'll just end with a quote. My Aquarius inspirational quote is from Peter Drucker. And he says, if you want to do something new, you have to stop doing something old.
Yes, very true. What an exciting time. I'm so happy to be finally in this phase after what we've been going through generally, as a globally over the last.
Yeah. I don't do mundane. That's what that type of astrology is, that looks at world events, but there are many who do, and I really, really hope that we are moving into a new phase, and endemic, as they say, and we can get out and socialize more face to face. But what Aquarius would say, and what we've talked about today, is letting go of the old ways of doing things. So we'll probably never go
evolving
back. Right. We have to evolve. We're probably never going to go back to exactly the way it used to be. So, whether we are going to be able to see people more often face to face now or not, the fact is that we have a pretty social energy coming at us this week and the next few weeks. And so we just have to decide, how are we going to do that? And how are we going to do that in a new way? So whether that's online, or a different way face to face, or a way that hasn't even been invented yet. I don't know what that is. Telepathically reaching out to your friend, but that's just the idea, is like rethinking, what is socializing looking like for you, and do it. Don't let this experience that we've had stop you from being social, stop you from expanding your network. So
great. Thank you, Lori.
Yeah, thank you. So we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Yes, for the full moon, which is mid-February, isn't it?
Yes, it'll be, I keep wanting to say February 16th, but we'll be back, right around that time with the next video.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Happy new moon.
Happy new moon.